Harry Miller's here. Time to get some common sense back on board. Former police officer, founder of Fair Cop. Harry, very good morning to you, sir.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning.
I don't know where they found that bloke from. I'm sorry.
No, you've made me laugh this morning.
Well, that's the main thing. That's the main thing. Because I bet you won't be laughing by the time we get to Monday, when the Notting Hill Carnival will have taken place. And no doubt there will be all sorts of carnage, all sorts of mayhem, lots and lots of criminal activity, and probably, and I'm not wishing this to happen, a couple of deaths, which is what happened last year.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely terrible. I've just been reading a report published by the Police Federation and the Metropolitan Police following several years where it's just been an absolute bloodbath.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the opinion of actual police officers. This is what they say, that it is a shocking disgrace with almost zero enforcement of any law. We wait for a stabbing, respond, then move on to the next stabbing. I mean, what kind of world is this? What's quite interesting, Mike, is that the Notting Hill Carnival company, the founders of it and the organisers of it, they say that it is a safe and spectacular event. Well, the spectacular bit, yes, absolutely, it's spectacular, but safe, not on your life.
No.
It's not safe in the slightest. Last year, we had 8 stabbings, one of which was fatal. We had 2 deaths in total. One guy was kicked to death on the streets. 61 blue light workers were assaulted.
Right.
Female officers go there wondering when they are going to be sexually assaulted. It's quite interesting that the poor girl who was murdered, she was murdered with a zombie knife. Police say,
if you imagine that those are the most, serious of injuries, imagine how many minor injuries are caused by stabbings and knifings. And it's probably in the dozens, right?
Well, yeah, absolutely. One police officer says we're waiting there and we're having thrown at us bricks, blood, and being assaulted with a bike chain. I'll tell you what, Mike. This is from a policing point of view, this is a festival of vampires.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It is just absolutely appalling. And if it wasn't for the ethnic Caribbean element, it would not be allowed.
No.
We would not allow this on the street. If this was a celebration of European culture, and it had this ongoing history of violence, of assault, of sexual assault, of murder, then the organisers would probably become a prescribed group, or at the very least, they would be made to hold their event in a much smaller, much more controlled environment, like a park where it was all ticketed.
Well,
it's because it ticks the DEI thing that that they are allowed year upon year upon year to get away with this.
Well, every year, Harry, you and I probably have had this conversation because we know what's coming. We know what's supposedly going to be the outcome of 3 days of madness. And we always say, and I've said it for many years now, why can't they just move it to Hyde Park, where it can be properly policed, it can be properly ticketed, as you say, you could have a proper entrance and you could have proper walls and fences that won't go around it so that everybody would know what they were doing. But again, it was almost not going to happen this year until Sadiq Khan found another £1 million to pay to the organisers so they could get insurance.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, I talk about insurance, yes. I mean, again, the Police Federation are predicting that at some point we are going to have a mass casualty event.
Yes.
This sort of complacency where you turn a blind eye to the evidence which is clearly in front of your eyes. This is the kind of incompetence, the kind of negligence that led to a mass casualty event as we saw in Hillsborough.
Yeah.
This is what is going to happen at some point. Now, we hope upon hope that it's not this weekend. We hope that it's not next year. No. We hope that a solution is found before this occurs. But sticking your head in the sand in the name of DEI and pretending that it's just going to get better by wishing for it to be better is not a solution. This is the kind of disaster that is going to occur when people run from the facts in the name of DEI.
Yeah, and of course, one of the things that we should also mention, I suppose, is that it's a very difficult job for the police. And you and I mean, you're a former police officer yourself, and you've been very critical of the Metropolitan Police in the past. But it must be pretty hard for the individual police officers to actually try and police this event.
Yeah, absolutely. The crowds are so big that you can be within 6 feet of another officer, but you can't get to them and they cannot get to you because they are packed in like sardines. The welfare facilities, whilst they have improved, they are still appalling. Police officers are expected to do 11, 12-hour shifts, but they're there for longer than that, and then they're back on duty the following morning. There are very few places to go to the toilet, very little water, very little rests. I mean, one police officer said, this is like we are lambs being led to the slaughter. They absolutely dread it, hate it, and despise it. And normally, you know, Mike, in the past, police officers would look forward to an event like this because it give you the opportunity to exercise your policing skills. Something's going to kick off over here. There's going to be an accident over there. It gives you the opportunity to exercise the vast skills that you have, you've prepared for, that you train for. But when it becomes like this, then no matter how skilled you are, there's a critical mass of complete nutters there who make it absolutely impossible for you to police this thing properly and effectively.
Yeah. No, I know. It's an absolute nightmare. And we know it's going to be a nightmare, and yet we still talk about it, and yet it still goes on, and yet on Monday or probably Tuesday we'll be talking about the terrible toll of what happened at the weekend. Harry, good to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed. Harry Miller, former police officer, founder of Fair Cop.